exactly was Paul Klee? Paul Klee was an artist who loved to play with shapes and colors. He was born in Switzerland, but he also lived and worked in Germany. He liked to make art that looked a little bit like it came from a dream or a fairy tale. Paul Klee used lots of simple shapes like squares, triangles, and circles in his artwork. He famously said, "A line is a dot that went for a walk." This means he thought lines could be very fun and create lots of different things. He used many bright and beautiful colors in his paintings. He wanted to show how colors can make us feel happy, excited, or calm. In his picture, Castles and Cities, he made many paintings that look like magical castles and cities. He arranged geometric shapes in ways that look like buildings. This is why it's a perfect project to start creating our own geometric castles. Paul Klee also loved music, and sometimes you can see the rhythm of music in his paintings. Let's create our own castles and sun. So on this sheet of paper, make sure you get your name and class code on it. Now, what I'm using is a mixture of glue and water that's mixed together so that these tissue papers will sit and stay onto my white sheet of paper. I'm doing the back side of my project. So again, I'm just putting a layer of glue down and then one piece of tissue paper, and my goal is to completely fill the page. I want that tissue paper to completely fill the paper so that there's no areas of white. So please continue creating that glue, watered down glue mixture, tissue paper next with watered down glue mixture on top. You want it to be as smooth as possible so you constantly can see that I'm taking my brush and dipping it into the glue, onto the paper, into the glue, onto the paper. If it ever gets dry, just add more glue. Continue putting your tissue paper on so it's as smooth as you can so that the tissue paper does not fall off or come off while it's drying. Okay, now that my project is dry, I'm going to take my scissors and I'm going to start cutting out the shapes that are on the other side of the tissue paper. This is going to be the back, but it's giving me my geometric shapes that I'm going to be using to create my castle. So cut on all of the black lines. You'll notice that you'll find those rectangles get turned into triangles. Those triangles might be squares, and I had a lot of fun taking some of those decorative pieces and arranging them onto my black paper. Notice how I'm turning them, shifting them, and moving them to create a shape that I like, or to create buildings and castles that I think look really good. The other thing that I'm focusing in on, not just the shapes, but I'm also paying attention to some of the colors and what colors look best next to each other. Once I have something that I like, I'm going to go ahead and take my glue bottle and start gluing those in place. Notice as I take my glue bottle, I'm just focusing in on the edges. Does this kind of remind you of a puzzle, putting together your pieces where you want? I think that this project is super fun, creating those shapes, geometric shapes, into creating my own unique castles. Notice how I'm focusing in on those edges, making sure that they're secure. Just put a little dot of glue and hold it down for a few seconds to make sure that those pieces are securely fastened. Now, using my oil pastel, let's start making them look like castles. Let's start adding in some features that could be added into my geometric shapes to give it more of a castle-like look. So using my oil pastel, I'm thinking about different windows, different doors, different lines that my castle might have on them, or even patterns. Some patterns might look really cool on some of these buildings. So using my oil pastels, I'm going to go ahead and focus in on creating some interesting shapes to complete my project, giving it more of a really cool castle look, and getting creative.